Keep asking me for, okay, now what the VA is doing is that they have this is Deborah Davis. Okay, so now they have all of our phone calls. I called the Ramsey clinic. And why are the phone calls, first of all, why are the phone calls to the Ramsey clinic being transferred to the VA in Minneapolis? That's the first phone call. You want to interrogate me? I'm now interrogating you. This is an interrogation at this point. Okay, why did my phone call to the Ramsey clinic? Okay, I called the Ramsey clinic, just so you know, veterans. And all of our phone calls to the Ramsey clinic is now being transferred to the VA in Minneapolis.
Okay, because we operate for the clinic.
Okay, well, I normally they have people that answer the phone there, but now they no longer have people answer the phone there at the Ramsey clinic. Is that it? Because Optum has taken over that clinic. Oh, because Optum has taken over that clinic completely.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
Well, they always used to answer their phone call in the past. So why are they not answering the phone calls there now? When I called the primary that I used to see, Dr. June, for many years, now all of my phone calls are being transferred to the VA in Minneapolis, where they got Optum operators like this one that are trying to control all of our, and they're trying to ask us for all of our addresses illegally. We already had a hacking situation in Minneapolis. Do you realize that? Where the police were caught in the patient records area, and they all of our addresses were already illegally violated, and there was a VA cybersecurity breach. Do you realize that? That already happened a few months back.
Okay, if you have
Okay, all I'm calling for today is that about a week ago, I requested a prescription to my medication. Okay, at the Ramsey clinic, where my primary doctor had them prescribed for me, and then they tried to say that my medication was expired, even though I know I had one prescription left. Okay, and then they're trying to say that they can't, they're going to try to check with my primary to see if she can prescribe them, and I'm just trying to find out if they were sent. If they aren't sent, then I don't need you to have any address on me at all at this point. If they were not sent at this point, I want to know if they're sent. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. I already provided the information to the pharmacy
for your address.
I don't need to give you, I want to talk to the pharmacy. I want to talk to the pharmacy, which I've already informed them of my address of where to send the meds. I do not need an interrogation by you, an Optum nurse, any further. Do you understand? You do not get to interrogate veterans and ask us for our addresses. This is an illegal, this is Optum who is violating our HIPAA violations. The VA is now officially violating veterans' HIPAA violations, asking for our addresses every time we call. Okay, do you understand? You are in danger. You are in extreme danger, veterans. Okay, they are always, every single time I call, it's an interrogation from the VA now. Okay, they're asking for our addresses, where the police can now harass us wherever we are at. There was already a cybersecurity hack, okay, a few months back, where all the police got all of our veterans' information at the VA in St. Paul. Okay, this is I asked a week ago. I called and I said, can I request my medications that already should have one refill? And then they tried to say, oh no, there is no one refill. Yes, there is. There is a refill, and they denied me my refill. Okay, and then now every time I call, it's an interrogation asking for my address. Okay, and then you see, it is so criminal what's happening here. This is all veterans in the entire state are in danger. Okay, we got these psycho state police and these psycho sheriffs that are harassing and stalking veterans because there was a VA breach and they got all of our addresses. And they're even requesting, we can't even get medication without giving our addresses. Okay? I already provided the pharmacy with an address to send it, and all I was calling for now was that, has that prescription been sent? Because they said, Oh, we'll have to check with your new primary care doctor. Even though I've never seen this primary doctor, and I've requested another primary because I don't feel comfortable with the one that replaced Dr. June at the Ramsey Clinic. Okay, then I tried to call the Ramsey Clinic and express my opinion there, and they have all of the calls being transferred to the VA in Minneapolis. So you can't even request a new primary doctor. Now you can't even request information from the pharmacy there because they got everything referring to the VA in Minneapolis, St. Paul that is totally compromised. Okay, so let's get further. Hold on, we're gonna go farther here. Okay, so I've already done a video on this where in Minneapolis, St. Paul, they murdered my friend John's father. Okay, I was the one who brought in John was taking, this was about 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago maybe. I was the one who brought in the narrative, the directive. It's called a directive that said I wish to be resuscitated. Okay, John was taking care of his mother, who was a stroke victim. Okay, and he asked me to drop off the directive where his dad had filled out, say, a form saying I wish to be resuscitated. Okay, this was before we knew, like how absolutely corrupt the VA Minneapolis is. Okay, so he was on, I forgot what floor it was, but I have the video of where I dropped it off to a nurse there. Dropping off the directive, VA Minneapolis. Okay, so I had dropped off the directive that said that John's father wishes to be resuscitated. Okay, he's a Korea War veteran. This is about 2.5 years ago. John was taking care of his mother, who's a stroke victim, which is like a full-time job. Okay, then his dad ended up with a bladder infection. These are the same thing. Like with his mother, it was just like a lung infection. With his dad, it was like a bladder infection. And these things should be minor things, but his father ended up dying and his mother ended up dying out of total negligence and murder at these facilities. Okay, so I had dropped. So his dad was there, and it was supposedly a bladder infection that was actually some kind of infection that was causing bladder issues and heart issues. Okay, so as you know, there's a lot of people that understand this, that infections can actually start to affect the heart. If you have a systemic infection, it can affect the heart. Okay, so that is apparently what they had going on, and John had expressed that to the doctor, is that he has some kind of infection. Okay, he told him he needs to be treated for an infection. Okay, but he couldn't get there because he was stuck with his mom, and of course his sisters are no help at all. In fact, they're murderers themselves. Okay, I mean, I've proven this in different videos how bad his sisters are. Okay, and I've talked about his sisters. Okay, and I'll talk about them again. Okay, so then he gets his phone call in the morning that his father had passed away in the middle of the night, and that he went into cardiac arrest and that he had passed away. Okay, so then he gets his phone call this morning. Of course, he's devastated because other than that, his father didn't have any other major issues. He didn't have any other major issues. Okay, he should not have died from a bladder infection. Okay, it was an infection. Okay, even though you're elderly, you don't need to die from an infection at a hospital that should be taking care of you, especially when you're a veteran. Okay, so and then of course it says on the directive, I wish to be resuscitated. So then John asked the doctor, so did you try to resuscitate him? And they said no. And then even further, then he finds out that the doctor that treated him was a doctor that was not even a VA medical doctor. It was somebody that had been brought in from the U of M, that is a doctor named Dr. Khalil, that is from Pakistan, that was put in by this company called Optum, who I've been talking about. Okay, Optum is now trying to take over all of our care at the St. Paul, Minneapolis. They're now transferring phone calls from the VA Ramsey to the VA Minneapolis. Okay, so this doctor was not even a VA doctor. His name was Dr. Khalil. He's from Pakistan, and he worked at the U of M, and he was brought in by Optum to be the overseer of John's dad's care, and he killed him. And he did not try to revive him, as the directive stated, and this was flat out murder. Okay, so this happened at the VA in Minneapolis, St. Paul, about 2.5 years ago now, or so. Okay, so then I've talked about the Optum nurses that they have working at the blood banks. So I had one of them. So I had tried to go. I've on and off given plasma, for extra money, and then plus, of course, just to help other people, for giving blood and everything. And I used to go to CSL. They now have these CSL nurses that are these nurses that are contract tracer nurses, that are fake nurses working at the CSL, the biopharma, the biopharma food, BioLife, the ones that the situation that I had just a few months ago was at BioLife locally here, and I had never even set up anything there. I'd never given blood there or anything. They literally greeted me at the front and told me I'm not allowed to give there. And there is a blood shortage here because of COVID. A lot of people cannot give blood. So these nurses are creating a blood shortage here. They're killing veterans. This is a very serious situation that we have going on with Optum. And they're putting in all of these fake nurses. I would be scared if I was even in the health industry at all at this point, of these nurses and what's going on with the CIA, this Optum company, infiltrating all these hospitals with these fake nurses. Okay, they're not real nurses. I would be scared even any regular healthcare providers in the state of Minnesota right now. We have CIA infiltrators that are not real nurses and not real doctors, infiltrating our hospitals right now, that are put in by the CIA and this Optum company, and they're killing people. Okay, so so I had that video where I was illegally, literally like pushed out of the of Optum. I mean of BioLife. I never got a chance to even give blood or anything. I was literally physically assaulted there. Okay, here's this video. They told me to leave.
Stay the hell away from me, you freak! You freak! Get the hell away from me, you freak show! You are a...
Okay, they literally physically assaulted me, and told me I'm not allowed to give plasma there. I'm not deferred. There's nothing wrong with my blood. These are criminals that are illegally deferring healthy people from giving life-saving plasma. These are not real nurses. These are CIA nurses that are put in by this illegal CIA company called Optum. Okay, this happened at the BioLife. I've never even been to that facility before. There should be no reason why anybody, before I even given blood or set up anything with them, they told me I was deferred. And can anybody in the nursing or doctors or any healthcare field tell me why that should have happened? That's 100% illegal. How could you ever deny anything other than this? Okay, then we got the CSL nurses. Okay, I've told this story. CSL nurses illegally deferring people at the Minneapolis blood banks in Minneapolis. Okay, I've showed these videos. And these are not real nurses. These are contract tracer CIA nurses. Okay.
Okay.
This is the BioLife.
Good morning. This is Debbie Davis.
Okay, when they deferred me at the
another
BioLife
situation with a fake nurse going on here.
Judges 5.
Okay, so I've never in my life tried to give blood at this one place.
This is the
This
BioLife.
one place called BioLife. Okay, so I just went in there and I was trying to donate. Minnesota is short in blood donations, and I do this every once in a while. And then they try to say that I am permanently deferred.
How could you be permanently deferred if you've never given blood there? Yeah, here he is. Here's his face.
I understand that. But you
I'm sorry,
This is
do you know who I
not a
am?
real nurse. This is a
Are you
contract tracer
let me see your
CIA
IDs.
nurse that was put in by
Let me see your
Optum.
IDs.
For privacy.
I said I want to see your ID.
They would not. They
Wanna
will
see your
not give
ID?
their names,
You're gonna
and they will not show
Let
their
me see your
IDs
ID.
because
See,
they are
we got
not real
CIA.
nurses. You get it?
CIA fake nurses. There's a fake
And they are
nurse
infiltrating
diploma
all of
issue
our
going on in the
healthcare
state,
in
and we already
Minnesota.
know about it, and we're already looking into it. So I need your name, so I can turn you in.
I need your name. I said I need your
so I
name.
can turn you in for the fake nurse
And
diploma
then they
scandal.
physically assaulted
Scam.
me.
Okay, you're involved in a scam, and you're going to be arrested by the military. Thank you. Okay.
You
Fake
have
nurses.
to arrest
Fake
these
nurses.
people.
What's
You
your
have to
name?
find these people
What's your
and
name?
arrest these people. Do
Fake
you understand?
nurses. What is your name?
We have to find these
What
people
is your
and
name?
arrest these people. They are killing
I asked
people.
you your name 3 times.
Okay, then that's where they physically assaulted me. I've never in my life given blood there. Okay, this is the one in CSL,
What's going on?
You gotta have a phone here.
What's going on? What's going on?
and this is the CSL in Minneapolis, where they got more of these CIA frauds that are not. Okay, and then once again, they won't give their names and they won't show their
You're
ID.
illegally deferring me.
You gotta go.
Okay.
What's your name?
Yep.
You gotta
See,
go.
What's your name?
they won't give their names
your name?
and they are illegally deferring me and other people.
Of this
Okay.
right now, you're illegally deferring
They
me
are
from
not
giving
real
blood.
nurses.
You're
They are
illegally
not
deferring
real
from giving
nurses.
blood.
They are put in by the
Life-
CIA.
life-
They work for
life
Optum.
blood.
Okay?
For no reason.
And
I
they
want
are
your names.
creating a blood
I want your
shortage
names.
in the
I'm not
state of
leaving
Minnesota.
Until I get your names.
You gonna leave or not? I'm calling the cops.
And then they tried to call the cops on me, and they don't care anything about the blood shortage,
What's going on?
because a lot of people can't
What's
give blood
going
right
on?
now because they have because of the COVID, they're getting blood clots when they give.
What's your name? I'm getting
I
you on
have
video.
there's nothing wrong with
What's
my
your
blood. They won't
What's your
give their
name? You're
names.
illegally
They won't.
deferring me.
They won't give their names.
What's your name?
They won't give
What's your name?
IDs. They won't tell
What's your
me
name?
their nurse
I'm
license.
gonna do a
You know,
video
because
of
they are
this
not
right now. You're
real
illegally
nurses.
deferring me from
Okay,
giving blood.
and they've completely
You're illegally
infiltrated the
deferring me from
VA
giving
Ramsey
blood.
clinic in Minneapolis.
Life blood. For no.
Okay, that's the CSL in Minneapolis. Okay, it's happening at the CSL in Minneapolis. Okay, I've talked about this. I've talked about the nursing, the fake nursing crisis, fake diplomas, nursing fake diplomas. Okay, so I was just on a phone call for. Okay, so I called the VA in Ramsey clinic here. The Ramsey Clinic VA. I was on hold for 22 minutes. Can you see that? 22 minutes. Okay, they referred me to, they are now referring people. This is where my my prescription for my medication that was with my primary there was at. And they are now not providing prescriptions that are on file at the pharmacy there. They are now trying to refer everything to the VA in Minneapolis. Okay, so I called this number, which is not the number to the VA in Minneapolis. It's 612-467-1100, and my phone call went to the VA in Minneapolis. So now Optum has all the phone calls to the clinic in Ramsey Clinic. They're now being deferred to the VA Optum, and now Optum has they're illegally taking all the phone calls to this clinic. Oh no, there's plenty of people that could answer the phone there. They always used to answer the phone call there. That's where I had my primary, which I trusted for many years. This clinic cannot be trusted anymore. They're now illegally deferring people to the VA Minneapolis, which is 100% corrupted by the CIA. Okay, we veterans are in extreme danger here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Extreme danger. They are illegally, and every time you call, you have to give your address, and because then they're trying to send, who knows who after you. And we already had a complete cybersecurity attack where the VA went into all of our medical records here at St. Paul, Minneapolis. Okay, and okay, so we have an extreme situation here. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this doctor was that killed John's father was named Dr. Khalil. He's from Pakistan. He was a doctor from the U of M, and Optum had him come over and be the overseer of John's father's care. His name was Thomas Turnholm, and he was murdered there. Okay, this is Optum. Okay, so then. Okay, so when I went into these other two clinics where I was just trying to get some medication that had already been prescribed before, and some of it is just a blood pressure medication. Okay, one of them is just a blood pressure medication. They refused to even give me that. Okay, and when I went into these clinics locally, they have these nurses that I know are not real nurses, and it was more like an interrogation than a real medical appointment. So be careful, because now it's more like it was like all these weird questions, and then they didn't even give me any care. What's your name? What's your birth date? What's your address? They always want to know your address. Okay, so they can illegally start stalking the veterans here. Okay, it's an interrogation, and be careful. You do not have to give all this information, especially when they're denying you care to begin with. They denied me care completely, even after they got all my information. It was an interrogation, not a medical appointment. This is dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. Okay, so then the other thing that I had happen with so I've talked about John's, my friend John's sisters before. Okay, and as we know, they were involved in the death of John's father. Their names are Lisa Rail, and Sarah Turnholm Reed. Okay, they were the ones who overseed the care of their mother at M Health. They took over the power of attorney illegally and had their mother killed there. And they were also the ones that took over the power of attorney at the VA in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And their names are Lisa Turnholm Rail, RHOEL, and Sarah Turnholm Reed, REID. Okay, those are John's sisters, and they are extremely dangerous. I've talked about them before. We believe they were also involved in the murder of their brother, who was a state representative. Okay, and who was a state representative here because they became the power of attorney when he died. They became, but then John became the power of attorney. So then it's been this battle, right? Okay, so if you can look this up, Lisa Turnholm's husband, his name is Randy Rail, RHOEL, and he's a chiropractor here in Minneapolis, and he recently lost his entire chiropractic license for complaints of sexual assault as a chiropractor. So he's already in the system as a sexual predator. His name is RHOEL, Randy Rail, and she's married to this sexual predator. So, and he has recently, just as in the last few years, lost his chiropractic license because he's a sexual predator. So that is more evidence as to what I'm saying regarding this whole situation here, and more evidence as to what's going on with John's sisters and the whole. And I know John's sisters are CIA because my sister was CIA and they worked with her. Okay, So, you know, we know these things because we have family in these type of agencies.